Hey, it's your girl Mystique. So let's get ready to manifest. First of all, I want to welcome and thank you for joining me and allowing me to share my manifestation techniques with you today on this new moon in Capricorn. Excuse me. I created this channel to help as many people as I possibly can because I know how it feels to think you're alone and to think everyone is against you. In this space, that's just not true. On this channel, it is my heartfelt desire and intention to empower others to shift from living as a mundane, everyday, same shit muggle to an unapologetic, relentless manifester. Yes, I believe in magic. Yes, I believe in angels. Yes, I believe in unicorns. I believe in everything. I also believe I create my own reality. I deserve a healthy physical body housing my beautiful spirit. I deserve a ridiculously enormous and consistent cash flow that fulfills my needs and desires. I deserve relationships that are fulfilling and love based. I deserve work that fulfills my passion. I deserve perfect self expression. And I want to make you a believer too. Now, Capricorn season is the perfect time to make bold intentions regarding our living arrangements and how we generate income. It's also a time of the year when we can integrate practicality, efficiency, dependability, and responsibility into our daily lives more easily because the cosmos are all lined up for each of us to mature and level up in some way at this specific time of the year. Not to mention, it's the end of the year, which is a great time to sew up any loose ends and complete projects to begin the new year with a clean slate, if we desire to do so. Focusing on creating a work-life balance at the end of the year will ensure that we successfully complete outdated cycles so that we are grounded to hit the pavement running into what's coming up for us, fully connected to our core frequency and surroundings. Excuse me. I just want to grab a drink. 1 second. I was fine before I did this recording. Now my throat is feeling funny. Okay. So the new moon is a time for renewal when we can plant seeds of intentions for what we want to create, whether that be in business, finances, emotional states of being, or our physical health and vitality. So the first thing I want to talk about is the 3 F words for manifesting with perfection. Okay? So we can manifest. We can practice manifesting any time that we desire of the year, any time of the year. All right. We don't have to wait until new moon or full moon cycle begins. All right. Life is constantly calls us to think on our feet. And we don't always have the luxury of waiting for the perfect time to perform. Sometimes action is required immediately. However, the energy from a new moon cycle will back up our desired goals and help us to plan things ahead of time if possible. The new moon is the best time for new beginnings, new goals, setting new goals, and preparation for alignment and receiving. Okay? So the first F word is focus. We must practice developing our focus abilities so that they are laser clear when we want to achieve something we desire. The Bible says you must believe before you see it. This is how we create things out of thin air, which is a form of magic. We make a decision to obtain a desire, and then we get laser focused on that desire unwaveringly. When a basketball player wants to make a shot, they see the ball going into the hoop first, and then they make their shot. Before an archer shoots that arrow, they aim for the center of the bullseye, and then they let go of the bow. They get laser focused on the end goal or desire, and then they take the very next step, which is doing the thing or performing. So when you desire a thing, First, you must declare what that specific thing is. Focus on it intently, believing that it is already yours. With your focus, you're saying to the universe, I want this thing. The universe will then send you the instructions or the ingredients you'll need to attain it. And then you go for it as the steps show up in your experience. So it's almost like you place an order. You go into the restaurant, you look at the menu. The waiter or waitress comes over, your server comes over to the table. You place your order with your server, and then you wait for your server to bring you the order. Now, in the meantime, there's other things that you could be doing. So you distract yourself, right? You do things like maybe you might eat an appetizer. Maybe you might, have a drink. Maybe you might go to the restroom. Maybe you might go wash your hands. Maybe you might talk to someone that's that's in the restaurant, in the meantime. All right, you're not constantly calling the server over saying, hey, where's my stuff, no, you patiently wait, you distract yourself, and you do other things while you're waiting for your desire to come into fruition. Now there might be things that the universe might say to you, okay, I know that you want this thing, but there's some lessons that you have to learn before I can give you this thing. Those are the downloads that you're going to get. Those are the ingredients that you have to get when those are the ingredients that the universe will be sending to you that will help to lead you to that desire. Okay? All right. So, the next F word, the next F word is feeling. Okay. So one thing I noticed when I was going to church, was that they taught me to follow instructions, not to think for myself, and especially not to feel. I remember many, many ministers telling me, even my dad, don't follow your feelings. However, feeling was infused all up in the service from the moment I walked through the church doors. They stimulated my senses in many different ways. That's because feeling is backed up with energy, and energy creates movement, and movement creates change. They wanted to change the congregation's mood. The church has mastered getting you to manifest for them without teaching you how to manifest for yourself. You must connect with your intentions on an emotional level to see your goals fulfilled. If you don't feel it, it probably won't happen. But if you do feel it, you can trust that it's coming. It's on its way. Okay? So now this brings me to the last F words. Remember I said it was 3, so it was focus, feeling, and now the third one is a really big one because it's unforgiveness. Well, forgiveness. The other F word is forgiveness. All right. Unforgiveness will block, slow down, and destroy your creations virtually overnight. Whether you hold unforgiveness towards yourself or someone else. So you want to practice forgiving yourself and others daily. Okay? So one good technique is called Ho'oponopono. Oops, too much. Ho'oponopono. Okay? You can research it for yourself if you want to learn more about its origin. However, this is how I use it in my daily life. I look in the mirror into my very own eyes and I tell myself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That's it, and that's all. Remember, forgiveness isn't for others. It's for you to release negative emotions and charges that were constructed basically to hold you back in some way, period. All right. So anything that shows up in your experience as a nuisance or that puts you in a negative disposition, makes you feel any type of low vibrating emotions of anger, even hatred, even if you disappoint yourself, shame, embarrassment, anything that makes you feel less than, unworthy, anything that puts you in a mental state of not feeling good, ho'oponopono it to death. Look into your own eyes and tell yourself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So what does this do? When you look into your own eyes and you tell yourself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You are projecting these emotions onto your reflection, which means that the reflections that come towards you will be reflections of love, reflections of forgiveness, and reflections of thankfulness. Okay? And you can test it out for yourself. And I promise you, all right, this is the story behind the Ho'oponopono. There was this guy, all right, no, I don't know his name. There was this guy who practiced, this is like a Hawaiian healing technique, all right, that they use to heal anything. So there was this psychologist. He was in this psychiatric hospital with like hardcore mental patients that were deadly. All right. I mean, like really, really, I mean, like they were so deadly that when the nurses and doctors walked through the halls, they had to walk with their backs up against the walls because just in case one of these mental patients got loose, like they were aware and they can see. So they had to walk through the halls with their back up against the wall and like slide against the wall so that they wouldn't be caught off guard. Okay. So what this psychologist did was he went to this mental hospital and he basically just said to these patients, like to heal them while he was in the hospital. He either said it to them or he just said it to himself as he looked at their files, right? So he might meet with them, but he continuously and consistently said, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. He just would say it over and over and over. And within a couple of years, all of those patients were healed and they had to close down the hospital. Okay. So that's why if you want to heal anything in your life, I'm not saying that it's going to be healed overnight. I'm just saying that if you're consistent with it, and I'm telling you, it has been working for me. It works for me. I had a lot of things going on in my life that I was not aware of. I ho'oponopono everything. Okay? It's a great healing technique and it's a great protection technique. All right. If you don't know how to protect yourself, if you haven't, especially like if you're like a Christian and you're using a Bible, if you don't really read your Bible and you just like, kind of like go off the like whoever's teaching you, like, like whether it's a minister or a pastor, you're kind of like, you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you're not actually reading the Bible for yourself and reading it and, trying to, get the understanding for yourself, because the scriptures, sometimes the meaning that it has for one person, it might be a different layer for you, but I'm not going to get into all of that. If you don't know how to protect yourself and you don't know how to heal yourself, this is the easiest technique and it works. All right, I promise. But you have to be consistent with it. It's not something that you can just do one time. This is something that you need to do probably just about every single day. We should be telling ourselves that we love ourselves every day anyway. All right. So practice this technique and you on anything that's going on in your life. All right. Your children, anything, just say it. Just look in the mirror and say it. You think about whatever is ailing you, whatever's bothering you, and you just look into your own eyes and you say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Okay. So now, oops. Okay. Now, another, let me see. I'm on forgiveness. All right. So there we go. All right. Another good way to clear up negativity in our lives is to invoke the law of forgiveness. Okay. So, you know how they say there's rules to this shit? Well, there's laws to the universe. There's many, 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 many laws. There's laws, intertwining laws. There's laws that work with each other and there's laws that work against each other, and they're all simultaneously working at the same time. So when you learn the laws of the universe, you begin to master your life. Okay? Once you begin to master your life, you stop playing checkers like the muggles do, and you begin playing chess like the manifestors do. All right. So you shift from being a follower to a leader or a co-creator with the divine one. You're co-creating your life. Okay. All you have to say to activate this law is, I call on the law of forgiveness. I'm free from mistakes and the consequences of mistakes. I'm under grace and not under karmic law. So when you start to repeat this law, you tell your higher and wiser self, you tell your subconscious mind, you tell your ancestors, you tell God, you tell your angels, you tell your spiritual guides, I am ready to take responsibility for my actions. All right. I hear some people say that they don't believe in karma. And that's like saying that you don't believe that if you go to the bank and deposit money into an account that you're going to be able to get your money out. All right. Now, I'm not talking about fees and all that other stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you going to the bank, putting money into an account, and the next day you can go and you can get that money out. Right. We're not even talking about interest or anything like that. We're just saying, I put this money in this box. When I go back, I'll be able to pull the money out. Let's just say a box. Yeah. Let's just say a box, because I know people are going to get crazy and be like, oh, what if they charge you fees? All right. That's not what we're talking about. I took this money and I put it in the piggy bank. When I go to the piggy bank to get the money, it's going to be there. Okay. Nobody's going to steal it. It's safe. You reap what you sow. That's what karma is. Karma is you reap what you sow. I meet people that I say to myself, like, how do you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, and even some 70s and say, I don't believe in karma? Like, what? So I realized that though these are people that say, I'm living my life, I'm doing these things, but I'm not taking responsibility for my actions. Like, they don't want to take responsibility for their actions. So they say, there's no such thing as karma. I can do whatever I want. That's not true. There is a such thing as karma. You reap what you sow. Once you begin to learn the laws of the universe, you have to take responsibility for your actions, or you're just going to be getting your ass kicked by angels all day long anyway. So, because you can't walk around with this knowledge and not use it. So, but once you start to learn the laws of the universe and you start to actually use them in your life, and you know when to use them, life is going to be so much easier. Life is going to be so much easier. So start telling yourself that you're taking responsibility for your life. You're taking responsibility for what shows up in your experience, because then you have power over it as well. All right. So the clearer that we are when we begin these rituals, the clearer and quicker they will unfold for us. So what do I mean clearer? I mean making sure that you have a clear state of mind, that where a clear state of mind where your vibration is high. All right. So you want to make sure that you're not going into your rituals with baggage. That means negative energy. All right. You want to shed as much negative energy as you possibly can. Okay. And you want your vibration to be as high as you possibly can. As high as you could possibly get it. Okay? All right. So now let's talk about actually, what did I do? Okay, now let's talk about actually planning our ritual. Okay, now we're going to talk about planning our ritual. And the first part is creating a sacred space. All right. So what you want to do is you want to gather up everything that you want to use for your ritual. All right. And you want to find the space that you want to work in. All right. So if you're going to use crystals, incense, candles, okay, you definitely want to get all of that stuff ready. Get all that stuff together, get it all ready. All right. Decide where you're going to perform your ritual at. All right. And you want to grab any spiritual emblems, all right, that you might want to use that would help you to feel connected to the higher power, all right, that you're going to connect to for help and support. Okay. And that can be anything. That can be rosemary beads. That can be a cross. That can be a little Buddha. I don't know. I know what I use. I use an ankh. I use a lot of different things, but one thing that I use is I don't use a cross. I use an ankh, for life, you know. I create my own, I'm creating my life from the inside out. I like to use the ankh. So that's one thing that I use. I can use a couple of different things, but the ankh is probably one of my most cherished spiritual emblem. All right, so you want to make sure that you have all these things handy. All right, and now you don't have to have those things, but one thing that you definitely must have on hand is a journal. All right, a journal of some kind. All right, now the way I was taught was that when you're performing your rituals, that you should always use a new journal. All right. However, over the years, I noticed that I was running out of space to store those journals, not to mention all the money that I was spending on them. All right. So now I use my tablet. All right. I have an iPad and I use this app called Good Notes as my journal. All right. And I wanted to suggest this because if you're going to be if you're going to begin performing abundance rituals on a regular basis, you are going to have to write. Writing is the entryway, is a gateway, is one of the gateways to God. So you need to write. Okay. Thank God for technology, because now that I have my tablet, I save hundreds of dollars. So you might want to consider, now I know an iPad is pretty expensive, right? But I found out about these electronic journals now, and I think they're like $200-300, like something like that. And I promise you that those things is so worth it, because now that I have my journal, I have all my journals in one app, and I could print them out, and it's so easy to search for. If I want to look up something and I can't remember exactly where I wrote it, all I have to do is type in one word from that document, and every instance within all of the journals that I have that has that specific word will pop up, and I could search for what it is I want, as opposed to gathering up all my journals and looking through each page frantically because I can't remember when I wrote this specific manifestation down, or this intention statement, or whatever I was doing, so it just makes it so much easier. So I just wanted to suggest that, because I've been doing this for over like 2 years, like using my iPad, using GoodNotes in my iPad, and it's working out great for me. And like I said, you don't have to buy an iPad, you can, it's important that you use your hand to write. So, iPads come with a pen, and those digital journals also come with a pen. They come with a pen, that you can write on your journal with. So I just wanted to suggest that. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So he that run that readeth it is going, those Habakkuk 2:2. He that runneth that readeth it is going to be your angels. It's going to be your ancestors. It's going to be your spiritual guides. All right. When you write it, because like I said, this is an entryway into God. All right. This is how you get, it's an entryway. It's like a portal to God. One is writing. Another one is speaking. Okay. Another one is using your sixth sense. That's your subconscious mind, right? So I'll talk about the entry points to God, the entry points to God in another video. All right. But writing is definitely one of them. Okay. All right. So now the next thing that we want to do is we want to cleanse our body and our space. Okay. So after you've gathered up all your items that you want to use for your ritual, you need to cleanse your body. All right. You can simply take a shower with a special kind of soap. I like Dr. Bonner's Castle soaps. They are really good. They are specific. Like, you would have to Dr. Bonner's soap is a spiritual soap. Okay. After you wash your body with this soap, I promise you're going to feel like you have been connected to God. I'm telling you, this soap is so good. You can also find a new moon ritual or a full moon ritual soap from a spiritualist. I actually purchased some from a girl on Etsy. I really like her products. I purchased a lot of things from her. But you got to be careful when you're buying stuff like that from spiritualists, because some spiritualists are really, really weird, and they do crazy stuff just to get people to come and spend money with them. So just be really careful. Make sure that you pray and set an intention before you start dealing with people that are, offering spiritual products and stuff, because people are just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I noticed. All right. I just noticed that people are just getting weirder and weirder. I'm hearing some crazy things, So I've learned to make sure that, I check I make sure that I check out how I feel before I purchase something from, a spiritualist now, because I've gotten myself into some crazy things with spiritualists because I wasn't aware, Okay, so that's if you want to take a shower. You can also take a spiritual bath, and you can use Epsom salt. All right. And I purchased Epsom salt on Amazon. Amazon has a brand where they have lavender, they have rosemary, they have eucalyptus. You can purchase that right on Amazon and take you a nice spiritual bath. Okay. And if taking a bath or a shower is difficult, then you can simply soak your feet. All right. Soak your feet in some green alcohol with lemons and maybe some fresh garlic and ginger. All right. These are all ways that you can cleanse and prepare your body for the ritual. All right. So the main point, the main reason why we're doing this is because we want to present ourselves as we want to present ourselves in the best way as possible. All right. So when you're going for your angels and your ancestors and God, all right, when you come to the kingdom, you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself the best of your ability. That's it. That's one of the reasons why. I'll share with you another reason why we do all of these things that we're doing. I'll mention that in later on, but this is one of the reasons why, right? You want to present, right? You're going on an interview, you want to look your best. It's the same thing when you're dealing with the spiritual world, all right? When you show up in the spiritual world, you show up and you're making these requests, you just want to you want to look, feel, and be at your best, okay? So after you bathe, you want to light your candles and your incense. If you're going to use them, you don't have to use them. All right? You don't have to. I it's a reason why we use these things. We use these things to help us to tap into our imagination. All right? Some people don't need it. Some people do. Like, I like to use incense and candles and all different types of things in my rituals, but you don't have to. You don't have to. It's important to write though. I'm sorry. I know it's like I've had conversations with some Christians that, like they're like, oh, I don't want to do it that way. And I'm like, are you nuts? I'm like, you don't want to do it. You don't want to write? You don't want to write a letter to God? Like, I don't understand that, but hey, I can't relate. I'll write letters to God all day long, But, yeah, so after you take your bath, you want to light your candles, your incense, if you're going to use them, right? Like I said, and you also want to cleanse your area, okay? So something that I like to use to cleanse my area is I like to use a mixture of Florida water and rose water. Okay, so that helps to raise the vibration in the space. All right, so I might write down the table that I'm using. I'll take the spray. I'll spray it over the crown of my head. I'll spray it in the palm of my hands. Rub my hands together. I'll spray it in the atmosphere. Okay, what you want to do, the intention is to cleanse the area of unwanted energies. All right. Some people use sage as well. I'm not really that big on using sage. There is an incense that I use to ward off negative energies, but I don't use sage that often. Has to be, for me to use sage, it has to be like some crazy energy going on, because to me, sage just clears out everything, even positive things. Like sage clears out everything. So I don't really want to clear out the energy that I've built up over weeks. I don't really want to clear that out. I just want to clear away the things that go against it. Whatever goes against my core, all energies that are not in alignment with my core frequency, those are the things that I just want to banish. Those things. I don't want to banish the things that's in here, like the energies that are in here that are supportive of my core frequency of abundance. And I think that when you use sage, it just clears out everything. And then you got to call everything back in. And, I like the energies that are surrounding me now. I don't want to clear them out and then I have to call them back in. So that's just, one of the reasons why I don't use sage. The only way I would use sage is if I was coming into a space that I didn't, that wasn't my space. And that, that if I'm going into a new space, let's say I move and I'm going into the new space. Now I'm just gonna clear everything out. Yeah, I'm gonna clean that whole space out. Or if something negative occurs in my space, like if a fight broke out between me and my family, or my family members in my home, then yeah, I might want to I might need to light some sage, because if shit got popping like that, then there's something going on up in here that needs to get out, right? So yeah, that's when I would use sage. I don't use sage that often. Um, but yeah, so the easiest way, one of the most important ways to cleanse your area, to cleanse your space, is the use of prayer. All right. So you can say a prayer from your heart to connect with your divine source or whatever higher power that you want to connect with for help, guidance, and support. If you struggle with coming up with a prayer from your heart, you can read a psalm from the Bible. All right. Um, you could pretty much read any psalms that you like. All right. Psalms 10 is a good one to use. All right. But like I said, you can use almost any psalm that you wish. All right. It really doesn't matter, because psalms are extremely powerful. But Psalms 10 helps to rid and cleanse unclean and evil spirits from your area and your thoughts. Okay. So you want to consider using Psalms in your rituals. Right. And there's a lot of books out there that talk about that help you to use Psalms, and I'll go over that in another video as well. I'll make sure I share those things. All right. So there's one more practical tool that you can use to cleanse your space and raise your vibration, and it's probably the most naturally effective way aside from praying, and that would be the use of music, singing, and dancing combined. All right. So you want to play some type of uplifting music. All right. And or you want to use a song. You definitely want to use a song that expresses the intention that you desire to align with, and sing the words and dance to it. All right. If you ever went to church, you'll notice that this is the precise procedure they use in their service. They pray up the area, they sing and dance, and then the minister shares some spiritual lessons for the day. All this is done to help the congregation get in a specific mood or mental space. So that's what we want to do each time that we perform our personal rituals. All right. We want to create a specific mood or get ourselves into a specific mental space. Okay. All right. So now next, what we want to do is we want to protect, connect, and reflect. Okay. So you want to practice some kind of protection meditation. And if you're not into meditating, all right, then you can also use scripture. Okay. Now, when I first began my spiritual journey, I used to imagine that I was in an impenetrable force field of white light that only allowed love and prosperity to come towards me. And over the years, I've had to evolve my protection practice. Okay. And to be honest with you, most of the rituals now that I perform are protection rituals, because there's always some widow trying to block me or do some crazy stuff, just out of jealousy. All right. So I'm constantly having to, do return to sender, rituals, and, constant. Most of the things that I do is freaking protection. I'm constantly trying to figure out how I can protect myself, how I can surround my aura, you know, from people trying to penetrate, and control me and project their fucked up wishes and desires into my life and stuff like that. You have no idea. All right. So protection is like one of like the main things that I do. I don't even do that many abundance rituals. Like this right here, like I don't even have to do this anymore. I don't even have to do this anymore. I don't have to do stuff like I don't have to sit there and do stuff like this. I'm sharing this with you guys because this is what I used to have to do. Now I could just think about it. And I just think about it and then I get it, you know? And if I don't get it, then I know it's because it's always a reason why. If it doesn't come at the snap of my finger, it's a reason why, and I know why. So it doesn't bother me. Things don't bother me, like how they used to. So, let me see. Okay. One way to protect yourself is through scripture. Like I said, all right. In Isaiah 54:17, this is a powerful, powerful, powerful scripture. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. All right. This is like probably one of the most powerful protection scriptures in the Bible. All right. So you want to definitely use that scripture in your rituals if you don't know how to do protection meditations. YouTube has a ton of protection meditations. Be careful who meditations that you listen to. All right. Make sure that you read the comment sections, so that you can get feedback, off of what people are experiencing. I don't listen to everybody. There's a couple that I really do like Steve Noble. I like him. There's another guy that I listen to regularly too. What is his name? I'm gonna tell you guys. It's Steve Noble, because I don't listen to everybody. Brian Scott. Those are the two main people that I listen to for protection. Oh, and Ariel Gatoga. All right, that's my number one. That's my number one go-to. He teaches a lot of Psalms, a lot about Psalms. Okay, so you got Steve Noble, you got Brian Scott, and you have Ariel Gatoga. That's the number one. Okay, all right. I don't really listen to a lot of the other ones, to be honest with you. Um, eh, every now and then, but not really. Nevolution I listen to, and I'm actually looking forward to Baba Jolie coming out with some meditations. But really, I just those are the only three that I deal with mainly. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So next, you want to act as if this higher power that you have connected to, that you want to connect to, now you want to imagine that this higher power is sitting in the room with you. All right. It's in the room with you, in that space with you that you created. Commune with this higher power. Commune with this angel. Commune with with whatever it is. Are you talking to your ancestors? Who are you talking to? They're invisible, but they're there. All right. Tell them everything. Talk to them about everything. Talk to them about what you want. Talk to them about what's hurting you. Talk to them about what you want to change. Talk to them. Talk to them. Talk to them. Pour your heart out. All right. If you want to cry, cry, but just tell them everything. Tell them all your desires. Tell them all that you want. Tell them what's bothering you. Tell them things that you hate. Tell them everything. Okay. Tell them everything. Be completely honest and vulnerable with this higher power. All right. And then think about what it is that you want. What changes do you want to see? Write it down. And once you write it down, reflect on it. All right. You want to reflect on it. You're going to take your time and you're going to really think about, do I really want this? Think about why you want it. Do I really want this? Why do I want this? How is this going to improve my life? What are some of the things that I'm going to do when I get this? All right. You have to think about as much as you possibly think about all the things that's surrounding your desires, everything that you, how willing, how committed are you to these desires? You know, to you, how committed are you to the unfolding of these manifestations in your life? You know, because things are going to change. You know, you're going to have to go through some changes, you know. So to really, really sit down and think about what it is that you want. What do you want? What do you want to see happen in your life within the next 30 days, within the next 60 days, within the next 90 days, within the next 6 months? Because that's about how long that it's going to take for these things to actually come into fruition. All right, depending on how clear you are, they could happen snap of a finger, maybe even like in a few seconds, you know, or it could take up to 6 months. You know, I mean, even if it doesn't fully manifest within 6 months, you should see some evidence of it within 6 months, you know. So I say write down at least 3 things. All right. And then after you do that, then you're going to set your intention. All right. And you're going to meditate. All right. So now for each goal, all right, and desire, you want to write an intention as if you already attained them. All right. So here's a sample one that I wrote to help get you started if you don't know what you want. All right. And this intention statement is it's in alignment with the energy of Capricorn season. All right. So most of us want and need money. All right. If our financial worries and cares are handled, it could make things a lot easier to focus on. It can make it a lot easier to focus on things that are important, that are more important in our lives, like our health, our family, or our life purpose. All right. So here's the statement. All right. And you can take a screenshot if you want. All right. So it goes, I feel so blessed and highly favored for the blissful experience and knowing that I deservedly materialize a consistent flow of enormous financial resources, cash, money, moolah, bread, coins, change, dough, gold, cabbage, bucks, green, kale, and all forms of fiat currency, whether it be bank deposits, electronic transfers, checks, crypto, stocks and bonds, or money in my hand, through the never-ending gold mine within me, under grace, in a perfect way, no matter what, with harm to none. Okay? So our statement contains a vivid and precise picture of what we want to have, how we want to feel about it, the manner we desire for it to unfold, and what we don't want to occur as a result of our desire coming into fruition. It's extremely important to bind down what you don't want to happen when you're setting your intentions. Okay? Here we are stating very boldly that we want to come into money, and there are numerous ways that this can unfold for us. I think we all can agree that we want what we want. However, we don't want to hurt ourselves or anyone else just to have it. Well, most of us don't. All right. Some people don't give a damn, but I don't want to do that. Like getting a lawsuit from an accident or getting sick to me would be a horrible way to come into money. So would losing a loved one for insurance money. So I learned to always end my statement with harm to none. All right. So that way I get what I want, and I don't have to worry about the universe using the path of least resistance and saying, oh, all right, Go get in this car accident so you can get some money. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about the universe, me getting food poisoning if I go out to a restaurant and sue in a restaurant. I don't have to worry about that, because that's not how I chose to attract my abundance. All right. Also, when things start going well for you, after you perform this ritual, people around you will notice, even if you don't tell them about what you did to get things going your way. And it's so funny because it makes me wonder, like, am I the only one that's doing this? In my life? Because, or maybe I just don't pay attention to people, because I be wondering, like, people be noticing what's going on in my life. I don't be knowing nothing that's going on in theirs. And if they don't tell me, I don't be, oh, Lord, that's bad, ain't it? Now, let me keep going. All right. You should never tell anyone what you're doing, no matter who they are, because people unconsciously get jealous. That includes parents, family members, close friends. It doesn't matter. Sisters, brothers, it doesn't matter. All right. And if they really get envious of you, they'll go home and pray against the very thing you're striving for. So keep your rituals to yourself and add the phrase, no matter what. All right. This will ensure that no matter what gets thrown on your path, especially the fucked up wishes and desires of those who want to block you, can stop what you have set out to do. They can't stop what you have set out to do. You put no matter what. Okay? So after you've written down your intention statement, you're gonna reread it as many times as it takes for you to feel it. Read it till you're exhausted. All right? You want to feel it in your innermost core. All right. So you can read it while you're exercising. Like if you use a bike or use an elliptical, read that intention statement. Get on a bike, circulate your energy, and read, and just keep reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it over and over and over and over and over. All right. Because you need to connect with that statement at your innermost core. All right. And you want to close your eyes, you want to clear your mind, and you want to sit with this feeling that you generate, for this desire. All right. And you want to allow it to fill up your entire body, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Okay. And you even want it to fill up the room that you're in. All right. You want to think about how your life would look and how you're going to feel once your desire fully manifests for you. And you're going to allow yourself to go through all the emotions for as long as you can. Okay. Now, next, what we're going to do is we're going to create mantras and affirmations. Okay. You want to write down a few statements that declare with clarity your intention so that you can repeat them when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. All right, so here's I think I did 5. Here's 5 that you can use if you want to. Okay. The first one is, I relentlessly seek first the kingdom of God, powerfully walking the path of prosperity and my highest good, trusting that energetically all of my financial affairs are placed in divine order, and by faith my financial cares are placed behind me under grace in a perfect way, no matter what. Here's the second one. I totally and completely trust myself with enormous amounts of money now and give myself permission to create wealth in alignment with my divine core frequency of abundance under the direct inspiration of my higher and wiser self, fearlessly, knowing my supply is endless and immediate. All channels are free, all doors are open, and everything is always paid in full, on time, every time, with plenty left over to invest, save, and share, no matter what, with harm to none. My credit score is the epitome of perfection. All right, we want perfect credit scores up in this piece. All right. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance under grace and miraculous ways, and goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of abundance forever. I now witness with total clarity the miraculous activity of my ships coming in unhindered over a calm sea, under grace and perfect ways, no matter what, with harm to none. Oops, went the wrong way. Sorry, guys. All right. So now we're going to create an appreciation list. All right. So you want to write down at least 10 things you are appreciative for right now and why you are appreciative for it. Okay. So now a lot of people use the word gratitude list. I don't use that word anymore at all. I learned a few years ago that I just wasn't wired to use that word in my vocabulary. In my vocabulary, gratitude and appreciation are two different vibrations. And I'm gonna make a video about the vibrational scale. All right. So, and because you want to check your temperature, your vibration temperature when you hear certain words. As you start to develop your manifestation techniques, you can instill triggers into your energy so that when you smell certain things, when you hear certain things, when you hear certain words, it your energy field does a specific thing. I don't want to get too much into it because this is like, it's like, but my point is that you have to check to see what words, how they vibrate with you. Okay. So when I say the word gratitude, right? When I used to use the word gratitude, for me, gratitude said, I'm so happy I went through this hard thing or made this sacrifice I struggle with because now I have my desire. So for me, gratitude recognized struggle for my desire. So I stopped using that word. I replaced it with the word appreciation. And for me, appreciation said, I received this thing that I desired, and I'm just thankful and happy for it. There was no resistance around the word appreciation, just gratitude. And probably because the word grateful was used in a negative way. It was used in a controlling way as I was coming up. Okay. So this is like, you know, this is some of the things that I'm definitely going to share on this channel. How to look at your childhood and see how some good things, how it was used against you in a negative way and they're still affecting you now. Like the word grateful. Okay. Some things that my elders used to say when I was like, oh, you should be grateful to have a father like this, or you should be grateful that you have this. And it was the energy behind the word was negative. So it triggered me negatively because it was used negatively. Just like, you know, just like, that they might say, oh, she's a sight for sore eyes. It could be used, for two different things. Sometimes, people might say, that can mean that you're beautiful, but that can also mean that you're ugly. So it's just like, it all depends on the energy behind it. So, and you can figure that out. If once you start to do energy work, you can figure out, you start, and the way you do that is you start listening to the thoughts that's going on inside you. And that's what I was doing. Like, I would say the word grateful, and then I sit and I'd be like, oh, I'm so grateful for this. And then I sit and then I would have memories come up from when I was younger, you know, of different adults saying things to me. And I was like, man, why doesn't that feel good? Why doesn't it feel good to hear that word? Why is that bringing me? Because my energy pattern was telling me, Tiff, don't use this word. You're not wired for that word. They didn't wire you to use that word. They wanted you to use a higher word. And on the vibrational scale, appreciation is in alignment with love. Gratitude is right below it. Okay, we're gonna learn some stuff, guys. All right, we're gonna learn some stuff. We're gonna learn together. So now the last thing that I want to talk about is making an impression on your subconscious mind. Okay, the things that I'm sharing with you in this video is to help you get all aspects of yourself on board and into your ritual, which means you need to get all of your senses involved. You need to awaken your five senses. So the baths, the incense, the music, the singing and dancing, awaken your sense of smell, your hearing, your speaking, your feeling. Okay? The reading, writing, and candles awaken your sense of sight. Once these senses are laser focused into your ritual, your sixth sense will heighten and get involved as well. Your sixth sense is your intuition, your subconscious mind. That's the main objective of performing rituals. It's to make an impression on your subconscious mind through your imagination. That's why, in a way, yeah, it is good to teach your children about Santa Claus. It is, because it helps them to develop their imagination faculty. That's how you create. That's why the Bible says, become like a little child. You can tell a child anything. If you tell a child, oh, that a child can actually grab a star out the sky, that little child is going to be figuring out, is going to be doing everything that it can in its imagination to figure out how it can grab a star out the sky. He gonna believe you, or she gonna believe you. You know, she gonna be trying too, and probably drive you crazy trying to do it. So I'm just like, in some things, I see why people say, "Oh, I don't want my child believing that." But I have a video up on this channel where I said, I taught my son how to lie, and I wish that, well, if you want to watch the video, you can watch the video, but it's so funny because that video is talking about Christmas and what happened when my son, with my son, during Christmas, and I think he was about 6 years old. He was about 6 years old, and after that, he ain't care nothing about Christmas. He ain't care nothing about Christmas. And you gotta watch the video. It was like after that, I don't care nothing about no Christmas. He was just like, and it's so funny. Oh, when I think about it. But yeah, that's our main objective of doing these rituals. And that's why, it's not all woo-woo like people think. It's just like an adult. It's like but it's serious stuff, all right? It is serious. But it's just an adult using their imagination, having fun. I mean, some people are really, some people, when they do their rituals, like they're tapping into some really, really, really high energies and stuff like that. And, that that's a lot. I'm self-taught, and I don't do all of that. And I don't, that's not, not for me to, it's not for me right now, I guess, so, but it all depends, So that concludes today's video. All right, please hit the like button, the thumbs up button, and share it. All right, if you found this useful, share your thoughts below. Just remember, I just want to just let you guys know. All right, I only respond to nice comments. All right, so if you post something down in the comments that is just like fucking weird, it's two things that could happen. Either I'm just gonna fucking ignore the shit out of you, or I'm just gonna block your ass. All right. So you decide on how you want, on how you want to show up on my vids in my comment section, because if it I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really intend on having block parties, but hey, we can have them. We can go there. So, because I see what goes on other people's posts, and I'm just like, my God, what is wrong with these people? If I am watching if a video shows up on my timeline, I don't take time, and I don't like it, or I think that it's stupid or something like that. I would never take time out to actually comment on it. I I wouldn't. I'm not. I see some comments and I go, why are you even on this video? Why are you even watching it? But hey, that's to each his own. It's not my job to figure out why people are weird. It's only my job to figure out why I'm weird. Okay? So, um, if no one told you this, if no one told you that they loved you today, remember, Mystique loves you, baby. I'll see you on the next vid. Peace.